Hello everybody, welcome to the Lloyds Bank British Business Excellence Awards award-winning webinar today on how to write an award-winning entry for the programme for this year. We work with numerous partners, and a close friend of ours is, of course, Donna from Crafted by August. We've worked together for many years, and Donna knows this programme very well and all of the categories and criteria within it. We have a great working relationship to ensure that we are providing our customers and our entrants with all the tools that they need. I'll give a quick introduction to myself. So my name is Sarah Austin. I am the founder and director of the Lloyds Bank British Business Excellence Awards. We have launched already for this year. So as some of you have known, we've got some really exciting new categories, which I want to talk about and share with you. But before we carry on, I think, Donna, if you want to introduce yourself, and then I'll hand over to you to be able to present your expert tips. And please do send through any questions that you have. What we'll do is, I think we'll go through the presentation and then we'll go through the questions afterwards, but please keep them coming. No question is at all a stupid question. We welcome everything. We have so many queries across the year of how to really curate the best entry for your business, and we really want to hear from you, so please do not hesitate to ask any questions. So over to you, Donna.
Lovely, thank you. Sarah, can you just enable me to share my screen? That would be great. Thank you. So hello, good morning everyone, thank you for joining us. My name is Donna O'Toole. I'm the founder of August, and we are an awards agency supporting businesses all over the world to find, enter and win the best awards, and this is definitely up there at the best. So I've just come to you today to share some tips. I judge with this award often as well, so I can give you the judges' perspective on what you will find as well, what we're looking for, and some top tips on really what you can do to win. So this is just a little bit about me and us, and we are part of the Dent Global Group, and very proud of our success rates within the industry and our partnerships. But really, I think let's start from some really key information, because I think without that, then everything is lost. So do feel free to take notes during this, and as Sarah said, we absolutely love questions. It's always my favorite bit of every webinar, and anything you're thinking could help someone else too, so it's always good to just share that knowledge. So first of all, then, the official entry deadline is currently the 16th of June, so working towards the summer period, you've got lots of time now to get your entry planned and started. Finalists around mid-July. And then finalists actually get to do presentations in this award, which is super exciting and just really gives you such a great opportunity to share and showcase your business and your project. So that's in September. And then the big finals and the ceremony are on the 14th of November. So make sure you've got all of those key dates in your diary to start with. They're definitely in mine. So first of all, then, why should you even bother entering this award? What are you going to get out of it? Well, one of the key things nowadays is actually about building social proof in your business. So in helping to raise the value of your business and to build on what you've already achieved through that social proof. And external recognition has been proven to be one of the key aspects that helps you to build credibility in a business. That credibility builds trust, that trust builds loyalty, and loyalty ultimately builds your business. Whether that's on a one-to-one level with the founder, people buy from people, or whether that's as a team or as the entire brand, the same concept is true. So it's definitely worth making the effort to have a really good, strong award entry to get yourself in front of those judges and into the finals and presenting to those judges and hopefully winning at the ceremony. Another thing that's really important to understand is the perception of your business with or without awards. And actually, I love this piece of research that was done relatively recently, where they took the same wine and put it in two different bottles. One had an award sticker on it, one didn't. And people actually genuinely believed that the one with the award sticker on it tasted better. Now, whatever you think about marketing and PR, the perceptions are real for the public. So as far as they are concerned, if your business is not having any awards, but your competitor's business is, then they're probably going to choose that one. Okay. you will know how good your business is. What you want to do now is share with everyone else how good it is. And that's why it's so important to have really valuable, high quality awards on your website materials, your branding, and everything that you're sharing with your potential customers. And with recruits too, you know, building your team is really important, and employees want to see the businesses they're working for winning awards too. Awards as well are a really valuable business asset. We do lots of research with our clients after they've won awards, and there's also a lot of wider research out there in the market. And just some of this key information, just to bring you in on why this is so important, has shown that award-winning businesses benefit from a 63% increase in turnover compared to businesses without awards. I've certainly seen this happen as a direct result of winning this award as well. Award-winning businesses experience 88% more motivation from employees who feel valued by recognition as well. So it's going above and beyond pay rises and flexibility, but it's actually showing that you value and care for them. And they also show 77% higher sales than the businesses without any awards, even 5 years after winning. So a small investment in entering the award now can lead to massive value in your business for 5 years or more afterwards. And a new piece of research has recently shown us that 85% of people now seek out reviews and awards when they're considering a purchase. This is really interesting because up until a few years ago, we were all turning to reviews and thinking, oh, great, Trustpilot, you know, all these great reviews. But actually, we don't always fully trust those now either. So having the credibility of external awards next to your reviews can really enhance that opportunity as well. So lots of good reasons there for you to be winning awards. Now, what I want you to think about with this award is how you're going to put your best foot forward with your story, okay? And from over a decade of experience judging, entering, directing, and being involved in awards in every way, shape, and form, I can tell you that there's these 3 key areas and 3 key elements that come up in award entries constantly, and this is what you need to be doing to win. Now, if you haven't, if you've entered these awards before and you've got to the final and you haven't won, you might want to reflect back on previous entry and see if you did cover these areas. And this is aside from and including all the criteria that will be within the actual entry form itself. This is taking the bigger picture look before you even start writing your entry. This is when you're thinking and planning, okay? So first of all, you want to be showing the impact. So that's a logical story that shows why you do what you do in a way that definitely makes sense commercially, and it makes sense to your customers. So there's always a logical story in there. But as well as that, we really want to see your values coming through, and we want to understand and be emotionally engaged with you and with your business as to why you're making an impact and what difference you're really making to people out there in the world and to lives, no matter who your customer is and no matter who you're working with. And then it's really key to bring those 2 elements together with evidence. You really need to substantiate everything that you're saying, because everything you tell the judge, they'll think, okay, well, that's great. Well, how can you prove that? So actually showing qualitative and quantitative evidence of your impact and of your values and your emotional engagement with your customers, your employees, or the community, or whatever category type you're entering. So those 3 key elements, bringing them together will bring you to this sweet spot of winning in the middle. And it's a really good way of, I suppose, self-evaluating your story before you even start putting it down on paper, and actually understanding what is our award-winning unique selling point, what is it that we're doing that's different, why are we doing it, and how are we going to evidence it. It's also then really important to choose a category that's going to appeal to your strengths as well. So I've listed the categories here for the awards this year, and we'll talk about those after, I'm sure, anyway, in a bit more detail. But just I want you to put yourself, sort of step back a little bit right now and think, okay, how do I know if I'm running in the right race? How am I going to select that? Well, there's lots of super helpful criteria on every awards category, which will help you to refine and to understand what kind of evidence you're going to need to show. But I've just got a little example here for you. We've got Usain Bolt and Sir Mo Farah. Sir Mo Farah, who actually I saw at the Lloyds British Business Awards a few years ago. And these, I'm sure you will all agree, are great runners. Now, if they were entering a competition called the Best Runner in the World competition, how would you know which one of them is going to win that competition? Any ideas, Sarah?
Well, of course.
Well, they're both brilliant, okay, and that's in no doubt. However, if I told you Usain Bolt's average speed is 27 miles per hour and Mo Farah's average speed is 17 miles per hour, would you think, okay, well then Usain's the clear winner? Probably not, because you'd need to look into the criteria a bit deeper and understand over what distance they were doing that run. And actually, Usain Bolt's the fastest man in the world up to 200 meters, but after that, Mo takes over. The point I'm actually making here, though, is not who's the fastest and who's going to win. The point is they don't enter against each other. You don't see them in competitions racing against each other. You see them understanding what their strengths are, like we were just saying about your USP, and putting themselves into a category or a race that is really super close to what their strengths are. So I recommend when you're taking a look at these category lists, you think about where are our strengths, where do we best fit? Really make sure you understand the criteria for that category, and then think, well, okay, often there's if I fit in this category, I could also fit in this one as well. So there's often multiple categories you could even be entering. So let's just as an example, you could be a great mid-sized business, and that's the size category that you fall into and have got great growth, etc. But it might be that you've also done a great transformation in the business somehow. So it might be that that's also relevant to you in some way. So think about your business in the widest form, but then think, where is your strength and how can you match that up appropriately with the right category? Because that will really help you to get ahead right from the start. So this is just, I just wanted to give you an example of a past winner of these awards and how they made an impact with their story. So this was Close Brothers Retail Finance, who were winning at the awards as they were a few years ago. And what was really interesting about these guys was they came to me and said, you know, we want to raise our profile across our industry. They were lending, they're a retail finance provider, so lending money to retailers in order to give you and me, the consumer, an interest-free credit deal on a sofa or a washing machine or whatever that was. And when they first came to me, they felt that their strength was their technology and actually how quickly they sent the money down the line to the customer at the other end, the retailer. But when we delved into that a bit deeper, we felt, well, actually, it's not necessarily where your strength is sitting. It's a great thing to do, but so long as you're meeting your service levels within how long you deliver the money, it's not particularly different. What's your actual unique selling point when it comes to your business and to awards? And when we looked into that a bit deeper, we found that actually they were supporting lots of small businesses. And through supporting small businesses, they were truly enabling those small businesses to grow. Because previously in their marketplace, the retail finance providers hadn't been providing finance to small businesses. So they were really making a difference. And we talked to some of those entrepreneurs and those small businesses who they were making a difference to, and it was truly life-changing. And actually, as a result of that, they entered lots of awards competitions, including this one, and they won the Business Enabler of the Year, which was an absolutely superb. They actually won Customer Focus as well in the same year. So they did a double bubble win. And it was absolutely superb. Now, the impact of those wins on their business was phenomenal. I'm sure, Sarah, you remember these guys as well. But truly, the impact was so phenomenal that it raised their profile so high in their industry, they attracted the attention of their competitors, and one of those was Klarna, who then set out to buy them. So they did eventually exit, become part of Klarna, and Alex in the middle here, who was the head of retail finance, is now the head of Klarna UK. So you can see the impact that winning a really high quality award can make on your business. But it's about looking into your business and understanding what impact are you making truly out there in the world to be able to showcase that once you're in the awards program. Something else that's just a practical approach to your award entry once you get involved in it is thinking about how you're going to use evidence to back up the claims that you're making in that award entry. And genuinely, I see some really incredible claims in award entries. And sometimes I feel like I'm on The Apprentice, not on a judging panel for some of the things that are said. I'd love to be an interviewer in that. But this is just an example where people say things like, our business is the best in the industry. We have created incredible results from our innovative initiatives, and our newest product has flown off the shelves, which sounds really amazing, but really has no evidence or substantiation to it. And as a judge, I would want to unpick that and understand exactly what was happening. So if you're much clearer and factual in your award entries, it will really help the judges to understand your business. It doesn't mean you're not doing those things. It just means that as a third party, we don't know how you're doing them, why you're doing them, and what the results of that are. So you can kind of say the same thing in a more factual way. For example, our business now services 58% of the market, making us the industry leader. We have grown by 18% year on year, with new product sales creating 10% of our revenue in the last 12 months. Joe Blogg says, and that might be a testimonial. So you can see within that statement, which is only a few words longer, you've got, I actually understand your market share, what's been selling, how long it's been selling, how much it's inflated your sales by, how long that's been going on for, and what your customer thinks. Okay, so I as a judge will feel much more reassured in my scoring of you that actually you have substantiated and given evidence for those claims. People often ask how to present evidence as well in an award entry, and this is something we come across a lot. And actually sometimes it's that you haven't got the evidence yet, and perhaps you need to do a bit of fact finding internally in order to get that and present it. This is an example that's taken from our brochure, so I can use our data to show you different examples of ways of presenting evidence. So we survey our clients to find out the impact of winning awards or entering awards on their businesses, and we ask them lots of other information about our service and all sorts of things. That gives us the evidence we need to then present ourselves both in our marketing and in our PR, but also in awards if we chose to go for them. So this is just an example, and you can think about how you could do this in your business. So we asked people why they chose us. 75% in this survey said because of our good reputation. We asked them if it's a good investment. They found it was a good investment for their business afterwards, and 100% said yes, which we're very happy about. And we asked them what changed since entering awards, and that's a really key one, because that's about showing the impact, and you will all be having an impact on your businesses and your customers in some way. So 83% of our customers said team morale increased, 67% turnover increased, which is actually higher than the industry average, and 80% said brand awareness increased. Now, if I was entering an award, that would be some great data for me to be able to use and prove the stories that I was telling. We also got 5-star ratings on Google, and we asked them to give some feedback as well. And this is the kind of feedback they gave to see what impact it's having on their business. So I want you to think about your award entries in your business in this way. What data have you got? Often we're all sitting on data that we don't even realize we've got. So I think it's worth having a delve and seeing, well, for everything that you're saying, what can you use to back that up? Some more award entry tips. These sound really obvious, but you'd be surprised how easily overlooked they are. So first one is be honest, okay? All the judges are very experienced business people. They've got all sorts of things going on. We all know the ups and downs of business. It's never plain sailing. To be honest, if it sounds like it is plain sailing, we probably don't quite believe you, because it never is. We've had pandemics and cost of living crisis and all sorts of things. So we'd rather hear about your challenges and how you've overcome them. Don't be afraid to share that information. It's great to hear what you're doing in your business to be resilient and to overcome challenges. The other thing is to keep it simple. And what I mean by that is choose facts. Don't use acronyms and jargon that the judges might not understand, that might just be central to your business or to your industry. The judges could be from any industry. They're not necessarily from yours. So do keep it simple in a way that your granny could understand it, because then you've got no chance of confusing the judges along the way. And I always say choose facts over cliches. And this is just an example. Again, this is like the Apprentice style that comes through all the time. People say things like this: in a paradigm shift, we bit the bullet and thought outside the box to synergize with our team, break down the silos and do more with less. The net result was win-win. Again, tells you absolutely nothing. It's a page filler. So really choose the facts that you're going to share with the judges well, so that we can give you points for them. So for example, this says, we improved both the customer and employee experience by training and developing a specialist customer service team. Within 12 months, this initiative resulted in outstanding customer and employee feedback and 20% growth in sales. It's very simple, it's very factual, and we would of course love some emotional engagement around your story as well, but just extracting a fact from there to show you how to do that as well. The quality of your entry does count. There's not specific scoring for spelling or grammar or anything like that. We're not a school anymore. However, even Shakespeare had a proofreader. So don't be too proud to ask somebody to read your entry and to tell you if they can fully understand it. And never submit your first written draft. I always say, let it breathe and then edit it. You need to step away, particularly if you're the person creating the entry, step away from it, give yourself enough time to have a few days and then come back to it. And it's typically then later on with a fresh pair of eyes that you'll be able to see where it needs to be edited and cut back and what's surplus information and what's really critical information. It's always a good idea to read your entry out loud as well. This is good for any kind of writing, because where you start stumbling tends to be where it needs to be edited or it's not quite making sense. And if you can't make sense of it, then someone else isn't going to be able to. So it's just a good little tip for really self-evaluating how far your entry is along. And there's lots of great tools out there nowadays. Grammarly.com, for example. There's all the AI GPT and all the chat GPT and all the rest of it. I wouldn't advise doing your award entry like that. It's probably not going to engage with anyone. But there's lots of tools that you can use, particularly if sometimes you might be writing your entry in English and English is not your first language. So actually there's lots of different reasons to help that be evaluated, just so that you can make sure that when it does go in to the competition, the clarity is there for the judges and there's no misunderstandings. So I'm going to leave you on that note with this wonderful saying from Nelson Mandela, which is either you win or you learn when you enter these awards. There really isn't anything to lose. You can learn a lot from your business, and getting through to the presentation stage in itself is such a fabulous experience for you and for your team, and talking to the judges and hearing what they have to say as well. And obviously, if you go on to win, then that's the result that we want for you. So there's really nothing to lose there. So I'll come to some questions with Sarah in a minute, but just to say that we have got some free tools on our website. If you want to self-evaluate, you can go on there and have a go at our free scorecards on how to win awards and get a feedback report there, and even find out which awards animal you are. And if you'd like a free copy of my book, which Sarah also features in, and lots of insights from the awards as well, then I'd be very happy to share a copy with you, and I'll just give you a link. You can put your details in and you'll get a copy sent over to you as well. So let me unshare my screen. And this is just our contact details if you want any support as well. hello@august.com. So let me just stop sharing there, and Sarah, we can have a chat and come over if there's any questions anyone's got. I'd be very happy to answer. I appreciate it was a lot of information.
Thank you so much, Donna. It's so useful, and even I find it useful because I enter my business into awards as well. Would you believe there are awards for award ceremonies?
Exactly.
And it's really useful just to take that step back. The wine example is just brilliant to see.
It's so true, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the mindset behind it, and it's like the badge of honor.
Yeah,
and it really can make a difference. And then also,
if anyone wants the book, you can get it there.
Brilliant, thank you. And I highly recommend Donna's book. I know you work so hard at it, and you're so open in sharing all of your amazing advice, tips and tricks, and how to improve your profile, particularly for entrepreneurs. So I really do recommend it. So I'll wait for a few more questions to come in. One thing I wanted to do in a little bit more detail was just talk about the program overall, in terms of what we offer for the entry fee, because we do very much pride ourselves on being a year-long program, and it's not just about sticking your logo up on the screen and the awards night itself. The awards night is brilliant, but it is the cherry on top of a very large cake that we produce across the year. And one thing, for the spend, the relatively small spend that you will receive with the entry fee, if you become a finalist, that automatically means you'll get a complimentary seat at that main event in November. You'll also be invited to a drinks reception that we do in central London, approximately a month before the event, the main award ceremony, which is hosted by Lloyds Bank, and it's one not to miss. It really is an icebreaker, and it's incredible networking opportunities for all of the finalists. And even if you don't become a finalist, which hopefully you will, but you will be automatically invited to a reception that we are hosting in July at the House of Commons as well. Very hot to get your place in there, but it's first come first serve, but it's really a brilliant networking opportunity, and you'll be able to speak to the government business teams and pose your questions and really get down to the nitty-gritty of, you know, the challenges and successes with your business in the UK right now. So that's just a snapshot. We offer a lot more than that as well. We'll be doing lots of virtual and in-person roundtables, webinars, business support programs. We're really building our community for this year. So again, it's not just about the cherry on top of the cake with the award ceremony in November. It's really about using the awards to gain the access to those networks. And as an example, one of our winners, simply just from 2021, I met up with them recently, and they said that actually through networking with another finalist in the programme, they managed to win a massive tender, and it's transformed their business now. And he really, you know, he's set sail to be able to get his turnover into the millions, which is just fantastic, simply through entering the awards back in 2021.
I would say that as well, actually. I always think we have a responsibility to get people to help them raise their profile, but also manage their expectations. And we work with clients who say, well, even if I get into the final, that's a big impact on my business. And we see that impact happening just from, like you say, getting involved in the program, coming to the networking events, meeting the sponsors, all the rest of it. So like I always say, you either win or you learn. You've got, you won't get any of that if you don't get involved in the first place. So, and I always do believe with these awards, genuinely, you get a lot more out of it than just your award. Is so many great connections to make while you're there. So yeah, I love that about the award, Sarah.
Oh, brilliant. And that's something we really pride ourselves on. One of my passions in life is connecting people and supporting business. So hopefully that really comes through what we do with the awards. And then more specifically, just looking some of my personal tip is always just make sure when you're looking at the spread of categories that you really understand that criteria and that you choose the right category. One thing that I just notice each year is that, oh, okay, and again, I try and help people where possible, but please don't hesitate to get in contact with us if you're sort of saying, oh, we might be this one, but we might be that one. You know, just let me know and I'll have a look at it personally and make sure that you get into the right category. We've put in some new categories this year for that reason as well, to make sure that we are covering all bases. We are the UK's largest business awards programme, so we attract businesses of all shapes and sizes. So we've introduced, to cover that, we've introduced the small business of the year, which covers some of that, you know, sort of lower turnover. And then right on the other side of the scale, we've introduced the FTSE Business of the Year, which is for, you know, those larger businesses, and then delving into different business disciplines. We've launched the DE&I award, which is partnered with Lloyds Bank, a very important award for this year, alongside the sustainability award that they sponsor as well. We have our tech business of the year. As we know, it's such an area of growth, and we really want to shine light on British business and spearheading tech for the future. So hopefully we'll get lots of exciting entries into that particular category as well. But you can see through our website all the category criteria is on there, and then once you go into the portal, you'll be able to see we've got some more guidance notes in there in terms of, you know, what we would encourage you to put into your entry. So hopefully that is nice and helpful for everybody. We've got some questions coming in. So Alex has asked a question about the size of the business. Hopefully I've just covered that with our Small Business of the Year award that we've introduced for this year. You know, it really isn't necessarily the size. Like, don't let it put you off when you land on our website is kind of what I'm saying. You know, like I said, we cover all bases. So hopefully you'll be able to see that. And we've also, if you look into the criteria of some of our other categories as well, you'll probably likely find that you are eligible for that, whether you're an enabler or you've had significant growth. Again, it's all relative to your business. So even if the numbers are small, it's still relative to the growth that you've had, say, for example, in the last year. So probably one for you, Donna. Jasmine has asked, is there any particular structural tips that you can suggest to cohesively outline the optimization strategies that we want to push out in this campaign award? Is it best to chronologically narrate the strategy or push out the most innovative strategies to catch the judges' eyes? Great question.
Yeah, great question. Every one and every business will be different. So it is going to depend slightly on what category you're entering and what you're trying to tell the judges. I think from a framework perspective, look at the criteria. That's your main framework, really. You've got to look at that and break that down so that you make sure that you're answering all of that. Even for the businesses that we support, their no two entries would look the same. It will very much depend on what you're trying to position yourself forward. It can be helpful to be chronological, but you don't have to be. Don't be a slave to chronology. I think sometimes we did this, then we did this, then we did this, then we did this, then we did this. And actually, I probably didn't need to know half of that. Probably what I needed to know is what you've achieved and how you then got there, basically. So I think look at the criteria, decide on your category, by looking at the criteria, break that out into a kind of structure for yourself. And then you'll know how that applies to your story. Because actually some of it might have all happened at the same time. It might have been that there's some background information that we need to know in order to bring us then straight back to now on why you would have made a choice to do something the way you did. One of the things actually in the book, so if you fill in that form, you get a free copy of the book. I go through what I call the 6 pillars of award success. And actually one of those pillars is insight. And I think that's one of the key areas that people forget, is to actually give the insight into why you chose to do something. What was the background to that? How did you know you were choosing the right thing? Did you do some market research, etc., etc.? Or it might be that you just, pivoted last year or in the pandemic or something and made this huge change, and now you look at this successful business you've got and this is how you achieved it. So it really does depend on your business, Jasmine. I'm sorry I don't have a stock answer for that, but I do think that starting with the criteria will help you, and not being a slave to chronology would also help you.
That's great. Thank you so much, Donna. The next question, well, it's very simple to answer this one. Is there anyone who can support with writing an entry for a business award? And you are looking right at her. So Donna's business helps businesses of all shapes and sizes, one-man bands, entrepreneurs, small businesses, and then again, right up to big FTSE companies. Donna advises how to enter awards. There are other options out there as well. So have a look and have a quick Google and look through our website as well. But Donna is very much the person to help with writing an award of this.
Thank you. And if you put your details in to get a book, then there's a question there. If you want any support, you can always put what your needs are in there, and one of my team will come back to you and have a chat with you about it as well.
So next question from an anonymous question: how small has the smallest finalist been? I'm trying to get a handle on whether the smaller end of the SME market, which is extremely broad, I agree, would be the sort of businesses you are seeking. As I mentioned, as we are the UK's largest programme, we cover all shapes and sizes. So again, have a look at that category list. The Small Business Award has been launched for this year. So that's for businesses with turnover from 0 to 5 million. And then SME is 5 million to 25 million. So hopefully that helps. We have had one-man bands in the finalist list before, who then enter the next year, and you'll find that they've become 10 people, and then the year after they've become 20. So
also, I think don't focus so much on size, because there's lots of categories that are not size related. So if you look at, for example, purpose before profit, it depends what you're doing. It's about the impact of what you're doing. So I certainly know we've worked with individuals who've been part of the awards program, been finalists and have won. And I've seen as a judge some brilliant finalists as well, who've actually, not been going too long. So I think have a look at what you're doing as well, because there's lots of categories in there that are not necessarily about size, but are actually about the impact of what you're doing.
So next question, what's the common criteria that judges use when evaluating finalists? So again, we delve into quite a lot of detail about the criteria and our scoring on our category list on our website. So you'll be able to see those different disciplines that they apply. So that, whether that's leadership and innovation, or their organizational skills, diversity and inclusivity, and then growth or financials. So have a look, and the weighting within each category varies. It's not one size fits all, because we want to make sure that we are being perfectly fair. So have a look onto our website, and you'll be able to see in detail how the judges are briefed to look into that.
And a good way of looking at that, just to add to that, the way that these awards work with, as Sarah said, is there's 4 key criteria, but then there's also the kind of category description as well. With the 4 key criteria, in an award like growth business, for example, the financial results are obviously going to be more important than in something like, I don't know, sustainable business, for example, where it's being looked at in a slightly different way. So if you think this is not my growth year, but actually we've got this great product or created this great solution in a different way, then it might be that you go for one of the categories that is less focused on growth and more focused on innovation, for example. So you can pick a category that suits the shape of your business better.
Great. So Dana has also made a note here saying, I've been encouraged to apply for an upcoming speaker awards, which includes a mandated video entry. In your opinion, how does video entry differ from written applications? So I'm sure Donna's got a lot to say on this.
Well, I actually judge the speaker awards as well, so I know what you're talking about. But with this award, with other awards as well, video can be really, well, I will just say for the speaker awards, you do need to submit video, because that's how it's judged. So that's just part of the process, and the judges are not going to come and watch you speak. So it's the only way that they get to see you. Okay. However, if, let's say, you then use that opportunity to say, I'm going to enter the Lloyds British Business Excellence Awards, and I've got a great video of me speaking, and actually one of the key components that's led my business growth has been my speaking, then you could utilize some of that when you get into the presentation stage in the finals as well, because you have the ability then to shape and present your story to the judges in whatever way you want to do, and that can include some video as well. So sometimes these assets that you're building in your business that evidence what you do on a day-to-day basis can really be applied across multiple different types of awards in different ways. So it sounds like you must be a great speaker, Dana, because you're being encouraged to apply for that. So I think that would be potentially a good asset for you across awards.
Great, thank you so much. I agree. And we ask for written entries, but you can provide supporting materials. So just think outside the box if you'd like to upload anything additional there. I would recommend not uploading a 100-page sustainability report, because it just will not get read. So I just, be careful about that. Remember, the judges don't know anything about your business in the very first instance. So just keep it succinct and be careful about, the information that you're giving us. Also, just to bear that in mind, all of our judges will sign non-disclosure agreements as well, so nothing will be shared. Later down the line, if you become a finalist, we will always ask for your permission if we want to share any particular stats or things that pull out from your entry, which leads me on to that point, being that it's not just about simply entering awards logo on the night and that night itself. We do have a large marketing and PR function as well here. So, we are seeking to speak to businesses like you to find your stories and help promote that for you. We partner with iNews and Metro, who are always wanting to hear from businesses like yourselves and get that national recognition that you deserve. So I'm just looking through, we've had a couple of questions, Donna, about your book, which is great.
Yeah, the link is in the chat. So if you just click on the chat and open it, you should be able to just click on the link and fill in your details. If you can't get to it for any reason, just email hello@augustawards.com and we'll send you one.
Yes, and we will also send everything, send everyone the link after this session today as well, to make sure that it's all in your inboxes. No further questions have come through, so I guess you know, hopefully you've been able to hear sort of our tips and tricks for entering the British Business Excellence Awards today. The main message I want to get across is please do get in touch if you have any questions that you know, if it comes to you later on today and you think, oh, right, okay, you know, what about this particular category, am I eligible? We'll always get back to you and help you and make sure that you are in the right category, like I said. And, you know, because we've got those new categories this year as well, you'll be able to see the whole breadth of options available to you. And really, ultimately, you know, if you do come into the programme, embrace it, embrace every single opportunity that is given to you, because they will start from the minute that you enter, or even the minute that you register, to be able to, you know, help build this community of support for each other in particular. So yeah, so I think that's
brilliant. Yeah, so very exciting. So don't forget the key dates. 16th of June is the deadline, so you've got, think about it while you're eating your Easter eggs. Get started. It takes longer than you think to get your business story together, particularly if this might even be the first award you've entered recently. So don't, you know, it's never too soon to get that criteria and really get going, I would say, to give yourself the best chance.
Absolutely. And I think awards in general, not just these awards, they do provide a great opportunity for you to take a step back and just look at all the things that you've achieved. I think especially right now, it probably feels like you might be fighting fires what feels like every week, perhaps sometimes every day, but actually you've achieved so much. And the fact that you're even here today just shows, you know, that you're willing to put yourself above the parapet to say, not only are you the best in your sector, but actually you're the best in the country. And I think there's so much to be said for that. And we're here to help. So make sure that you call upon us.
Brilliant.
So, right, thank you so much, Donna, for your time. I know that you're incredibly busy writing entries most of the day, so we really appreciate your time, and hopefully we've been able to provide some useful information for everyone. We've had a thank you through the questions as well, which is brilliant. So,
and good luck to everyone.
Yeah, good luck, everyone. Thank you so much for coming along today, and please do get in touch if you've got any further questions. Thank you so much. Right. I'll see you on the other side, Donna. Thank you so much.
See you on the other side.